exciting. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Asia's first ever Email Excellence Award for the Love of Emails Awards 2022, hosted by the continent's leading recognizing body, Asia Inc. 500 and MarTech solution giant Netcore Cloud. Before we proceed, I would like to introduce myself. I am Anshika Purvar, Global Head Strategic Partnership and Alliances, and I'll be a host for today's event. Today, we are all gathered here to not only recognize excellence in email marketing, but also to amplify the voices that spark global change in the digital era. For Love of the Emails, Awards 2022 is here to set a new benchmark for impactful email marketing that inspires leaders to take action across communities. We have more than 7 award categories, 11 speakers from different industries, 9 panelists and jury members who have helped us astronomically to shape up this event. I would like to give special thanks to Netcode Cloud for associating with Asia Inc. 500 to organize this pioneering event. Netcore Cloud enables marketers to achieve higher ROI and growth through AI powered customer communication and engagement platform solutions. It has over 20 years of legacy of delivering value to more than 5,000 leading brands across the globe. Netcore Cloud is trusted by more than 25 global unicorns as a full stack marketing platform, and its world class email engagement APIs and omni-channel personalization solutions. Netcore Cloud is also the largest email service provider in Asia, accounting for 50% and 75% of the total email traffic of Asia and India, respectively. Before we start, let me introduce our other prestigious partners: LinkedIn, Your Story, Airmeet, Starfeed, CMO Asia, and Maverick Digital, that have supported us to bring this most unique and coveted event to you. We are fortunate enough to have with us today our respected speakers who are from diverse industries and domains and are influencers in their respective fields. They are going to share their secrets and mantras to help our attendees to succeed in the email marketing efforts. To begin our event today, we would like to start with an opening note by Mr. Chaitanya Ramalingegowda, Director and co-founder of WakeFit.co. Chaitanya oversees all front-end operations of the company in areas such as sales, marketing, technology, and customer experience. With over 16 years of experience working in several managerial capacities, from large companies to startups. So please welcome Mr. Chaitanya to deliver his opening keynote. Over to you, Mr. Chaitanya.
Thanks, Anshika. So I'll just share my screen. Hope the screen is visible. So thanks for having me here. Uh, Email marketing has for long been the silent warrior in the MarTech stack, not getting due credit. And I'm happy to see that there are organizations as well as different discussion forums dedicated for this particular channel. Over the next 20 minutes or so, I hope to cover three things. Firstly, a quick overview about WakeFit, what we've done over the last 6 years or so, and where we are as a company. Just a couple of minutes on that. Spend bulk of the time on the email marketing evolution, trends, and so forth for about 8 to 10 minutes, and another 7 to 8 minutes on a couple of case studies where WakeFit has leveraged this particular channel for reaching out to our audience base and how we have seen results from this. And I want to then leave about 1 or 2 minutes for taking questions from the audience if we have interest as well as time for that. So I'll move forward. So WakeFit started off as a mattress company, but over these 6 years or so, we have evolved into a complete home solutions company, which means everything from beds to sofas to dining sets. We are covering everything, and we have the ambition to serve a large part of India, and the whole dream is that any middle class household should also be able to buy products that are truly aesthetic and ergonomic and scientifically designed. So we believe that somebody who's middle class should not have to go and settle for some unbranded local carpentry store. They should get the best world class products. And that's the dream that we've been chasing for many years. We started in 2016. Coincidentally, our sixth birthday is in 3 days from now, and steadily we increased our presence on Amazon and Flipkart. But today, our own website contributes to nearly two-thirds of our revenue, so it is our largest channel. And email marketing, SMS marketing, all of these definitely have contributed to where we are today in terms of driving as much sales as possible from our own channel. Uh, we currently have about uh, 23 warehouses, and 8 or 9 factories, and we are servicing all over India. Uh, for example, our mattresses and sleep products are present in almost all the 19,000 odd pin codes, while for furniture, we service only about 23 cities, which are contributing to 80-90% of the e commerce market in India. So we've been able to grow steadily, but on the pillars of customer centricity, doing your own R&D and manufacturing, and very innovative marketing campaigns. So those are the three pillars that have enabled us to grow. Today uh, we are present in over a million homes, which is 10 lakh homes across hundreds of cities, and we take pride in one simple fact that over 3 lakh reviews are present for our products in verified platforms. So that means word of mouth is our largest marketing channel. That is something that we are very happy about. We have won some awards on the way, ET Awards, Red Hitting Awards, and Forbes Awards. So we're very. We think that this is all an attribution to the hard work done by our team. Having said that, let's look at email marketing as a glance. So in 1971, the very first email was sent by a person called Ray Tomlinson. And I don't think the gentleman then sort of guessed how far emails would go and how they would be a powerful tool as well as a device for abuse by brands as well as by spammers alike. That was a small activity in 1971 that sort of changed one angle of the Martech stack. Uh, what I still remember when 2009 10, when I was in management consulting, we used to, even if you have to do a small event or a small the email to your database, you would sit and mail merge on your Outlook, and you would set it up at night so that it would run throughout the night. You had to struggle, even if it was a 50-100 database, you would struggle to then sort it out. And then I remember doing my first startup or second startup where we used to struggle with email deliverability, ensuring that we land on the person's inbox. And then Google introduced these other tabs, and then we would end up landing on updates or promotions tab. How do you overcome that? How do you get the right permissions from the customers? Emails have gone through huge change over these decades. So in 1978, it was only present on 400 ARPANET advertising machines. And for those of you who are very familiar with computer science history, ARPANET and DARPANET were the sort of prologues to how email and email marketing and even internet sort of came up to being in existence. 1991, internet was actually opened up to everybody, and then email services launched, and then emails themselves went through a lot of maturity, which we'll touch upon. Uh, from our understanding, these were the major steps in how email marketing itself evolved. Initially, it used to be only closed loop, which means if you were on a particular set of companies and a particular set of universities, you could then correspond within the company and within the universities. And then slowly it opened up to corresponding between each other, between these universities and companies. But then with Hotmail and other things coming up, it evolved into a complete open platform where everybody and anybody could send out emails. And suddenly, marketers sort of understood that you now have an access to a person's inbox, uh, which means you could send them a message almost free of charge. And now, only in the present day, if you use a Martech stack, you pay a small fee. But back then, they realized that hey, if I have somebody's mail ID, I can send out a mail almost free of charge. And and then that opened up a lot of avenues for marketers to reach their consumer base. So even after a customer came, bought, and went away, emails gave an access to them to go back and re-engage. But obviously, like in any technology feature or technology platform, there are good actors and then there are bad actors. So very quickly, email sort of degenerated to becoming a big source of junk email, where people were not actually signing up for these emails, but email IDs were for sale and on databases, and people would just spam in emails to all of these subscribers. Very quickly, that meant the rise of good spam filters, very good uh, softwares and tools to segregate your emails, and even artificial intelligence to sort of sift through the content. What Google would do, what Yahoo would do, and then you got better and better at having only the emails that you signed up for or your family and friends to land up in the inbox and everything to be separated out. Obviously, this became the next challenge for marketers because now you needed to earn the customer's trust through subject line, through content, to be able to say that, hey, if it came from this particular mail ID, I would want to move it away from spam. I would want to move it away from my updates tab. The next generation was HTML emails, from pure static text images, text articles to maybe one or two images. HTML became the norm, which meant you could have fully rich web page like content, which you could very well target and make people to open and read, because you now had not plain boring text, but you could actually communicate a lot more. Very, very similar to Web 1.0 to Web 2.0. Similarly, email 1.0 to email 2.0 was HTML as a big thing. Uh, then the emails again went through an identity crisis because all the smartphones came and you could now reach out to customers through your own app or other apps on which you are listed on. So again, are emails right or wrong? Are emails the right channel? Is it the best way to reach customers? Again, they went through an identity crisis, but emails have come up on the other side being very, very strong. There are now lots and lots of features that even an app would provide. The same things are present in emails also, which we will talk about going forward. Presently, these are some of the things that we are seeing in our own actions as well as other brands' actions about how emails are trending. Uh, Customers are loving to see user generated content. They don't want to hear only what a brand says. Instead, they want to see what other people like them are saying. And if it's user generated content, user testimonials, or in B2B cases, how a particular user or a company has been open to deriving more value from that brand, and they've learned from other people like them, that is getting a lot more love from customers. Secondly, newsletters. You might have seen how initially it was blogs, and now it is platforms like Substack, where anybody and everybody can become a publisher. And you can create a really good email list. You can request, and the more powerful your content is, the more people that will sign up for newsletters. And then once you sign them up and they have given you explicit permission, that is when newsletters will become much more powerful than simple email campaigns. So that is again where you will find publishers who are very, very interested in crypto, very, very interested in VCs and fundraising, very, very interested in email marketing itself as a topic. So you'll find any publisher of any interest. And now it's not just about one brand or one media house talking to multiple people. It is many people talking to many other audiences. So any niche that you want to be part of, you'll find an expert in that niche. You just have to browse and understand. And thirdly, we are seeing a lot about hyper personalized email campaigns. Again, here AIML is playing a huge role, where we are able to say that if a person has taken these particular actions on your website or on your app, this is probably where they are in their thought process. So, can you personalize it very, very deeply to say that, hey, if you have behaved like this, And if you have browsed like this, if you have added like this, if you have saved these things, this is probably where you are. So this is probably the kind of messages you like. So can you create a really powerful decision tree based on very personalized observation of what you are doing on the brand's website or app? Those are getting a lot more open rates and click through rates, because that means you are tailoring for that person's need. It's not a generic carpet bombing. Lastly, emails are also being used for things that can give you a privilege kind of a feeling. Can you give early access invites? Can you open up your new set of categories only to your email subscribers? It's a very similar behavior to app only kind of features. If you remember, Flipkart, Amazon, all of those had certain, for a long time when they were trying to get people to download their apps, they used to have these app only discounts, app only catalog, and so on and so forth. Similarly, can you do something on the email world where, given you have access and you have the privilege of being in a person's inbox, can you give them certain early access and other features that will make them value you? In the future, we think that, yeah, AI ML will get better and better and better. It's a two-edged sword, obviously. The more you get your email engines and people like Google to read your emails, the better the junk filtering is, the better targeting is, and so on and so forth. But on the flip side, we are also compromising a little bit on the privacy. So it's a personal choice, and the more transparent you are as a brand as to what you're reading, how you're reading, and what benefits you're going to provide, the more transparent we are in telling the customer that this is what we take and this is what we give, and people sign up explicitly, the better the trust on the brand will be. Secondly, we see the rise of interactive emails. It could be through simple GIFs. We see that even memes work brilliantly in our email campaigns. So it could be GIF memes, it could be funny GIFs, it could be educative GIFs, all of those. It could even be product carousels, it could be searches, it could be surveys. So if you put all of these as part of your emails, the better your engagement will be. And it's not just about showing something and making them click and get out of the email. So the more interactive it is, the more personalized it is going to be much, much more interesting. Lastly, we feel that IoT wearables, all of those will also come into play. How will you fit that interesting, compelling copy that you and your team created onto a small watch screen? How will you fit it on a small device that people are looking at on the go? So the form factor of emails will also end up varying and also end up being a major impact on how emails will remain as a tool. So just quickly, a few examples of what we have done at WakeFit. Marketing at WakeFit has never been about how much money you spend, what is your advertising budget. It's always followed two or three broad tenets that we've always stuck to from day one. Firstly, it has to be content led, which means it cannot be just a brand message pushed and said buy now. It has to have content. It has to have something that people will be entertaining, or will be uh, it will be adding value to their life. That's the third point. It can be giving them a nugget of information. It could be adding a small tip to their life, so on and so forth. And virality has to be baked in. When virality is baked into your campaign and your content, it means that it is shareable, it's share worthy. So we are going beyond just saying, hey, somebody consumed my content and they liked it. If virality is baked in, the chances are somebody will forward, and that small snowballs into something else. So whether it is growth, whether it is simple CRM, whether it is a complex decision tree, whether it is digital marketing or PR, these three tenets is what we have always followed at Wake. For email marketing, like I mentioned, we now have about a million base in 2022, and we're very, very fortunate that these many number of people have trusted us, shared their access of phone numbers, email IDs, and we always, always hope to live up to that trust and never abuse that system. That permission marketing is what we call, and as long as that is honored, people will always remain and will be open to receiving your email. We have started a few interesting tricks interesting leveraging existing tools and so forth, which I'll touch upon. But using all of these, our growth team, our CRM team has also been able to generate 1 crore of direct revenue that was attributable in the last sale that we did. So that is something that we are very happy about. We've employed tools like dynamic product messaging, which means if you had been browsing or adding or spending more time or adding to wish list certain products, can we send exactly those products as part of the email? Because you have left it because either you said let me wait for a sale, or you wanted to get a credit card which has a higher discount by talking to your spouse or a partner or a friend. For whatever reason you've left it and gone. So is there a way that we can give a small nudge and say, hey, you forgot this, can you please have a look at it? Secondly, we also use real-time optimization to improve performance, rather than looking at historical records and then seeing what happened, what didn't happen. So this again improves engagement metrics. So every time a small base is sent out and you observe and make changes, the better and better it gets on all the parameters. So obviously we are a startup, we are very frugal, and we love email marketing. It's obviously cost efficient. We are able to stick to our original thesis of saying content plays a hero's role. And so it could be memes, it could be GIFs, it could be embedded videos, it could be surveys. So we don't just look at it as a way to disseminate text. We look at a way to engage with customers. And a lot of people respond, click, and read. And product affinity is also something that we keep building so that people constantly know that Wakefit stands for this and our product base is this. We look at entertainment and value add as one content category. Secondly, transactional. And thirdly, retention and re engagement. I'll talk about each of these 1 minute each. I think we have just a 2 or 3 minute window left. In entertainment and value add, we are always trying to give information to people. Is there a new funny campaign we launched? A new content piece that we launched? Is there a new survey that we launched where we thought we would be able to give a new brand ambassadors bite, or something that will be very very engaging to you when you are sitting and browsing, when you're waiting for dinner in a restaurant. So those kinds of content pieces go in this bucket. Transactional is very very related to your order. Can we give you with all transparency where your product is, what, what is the shipping status, what is the manufacturing status, you've placed for a return replacement, what is the status of that, what can you expect as a response, what is the next step. We try to be timely as well as transparent with this category. The third bucket is we already have a customer, you've purchased, you've liked your product and gone away, but how do we reactivate you? How do we reach out to you to say that we've launched new designs of the bed sheets that you already loved and gave us a good NPS on? How do we say that we've launched a new variant of the Shisham wood bed that you liked but put it in the cart and forgot about 6 months ago? We have new designs but in the same material. How do we use these kinds of tips and rich content to be able to re-engage and say, hey, come visit. It's okay if you don't buy, but our intent is to engage and give you really, really good content. So this is one case study where we built customer affinity based on for mattresses, based on what they have bought, which PDPs that they have viewed, how many category page views they have done, how much in further in the checkout process that they've gone. So as you can see, the impact, the really really good open rates and really good CTRs, where customers felt that we were actually talking to that one person based on their behavior. Secondly, you might have come across this. We created a Kumbhakaran as our chief sleep officer. We created a LinkedIn profile. We created hugely engaging Twitter content, and we also sent emailers to all our existing base, reactivation base, re-engagement base, and try to create a fun take on sleep to say that we are celebrating people who value their sleep and not those who are saying that I'm sacrificing my sleep for success. So, on a large base of millions of people, we were able to get really good CTRs, and this became a really big viral hit. So, this is where we are. Email marketing plays a very important part of our martech stack, and platforms like Netcore play a very important role through their hyper personalization, use of AI and ML. and this is an inescapable part of any marketer's armory. So we are about 650 crore, about 2,000 employees, uh, but I think the fundamentals of good email marketing, good SMS, good SEO, that will never go away from being an important part of what we do at marketing. So hope you're going to enjoy the coming sessions, and thank you Netcore as well as Asia Inc. For having me here. I hope the session was useful. If we have time for questions, I can take one or two. I'll leave it to the moderators.
Thank you, Chaitanya, for shedding light on the role of email marketing in boosting sales and customer experience. Also, we really loved the interesting facts that you shared on how the emails actually emerged from 1971, along with like the building, like to the date, like building experience in person with the customers directly, and sharing light on like how experiences are built, like how we put a notification 6 months later down the line that okay, you do okay, that was in your cart and you didn't bought it then, but okay, we have a newer model this time. So I think that's a lovely personalization that we see. We do see a couple of questions in the window. If we still have like quite some time, if you would like to take it up.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, great. So I see. So one of the questions is like, what are few tips to start incorporating user-generated content to our email marketing campaigns?
My submission there would be that user generated content and personalization should go hand in hand. For example, if you find user generated content, for example, in our case, I'll talk about mattresses. There are many use cases of mattresses. Some people buy because they're already suffering from a chronic back pain. Some people are buying because their brand that they were using from 20 years that has sagged. And so each person will, when they love our product, they talk about different things. There's a set of customers who love us and say, my back pain completely went away. My arthritis pain completely got better after I started using this. I'm able to sleep peacefully without tossing and turning. And when you take these user testimonials and using the database of people who have browsed more and more of the back pain related content on your website and target this UGC for those customers, that's when personalization and this mapping will go hand in hand. So when that person opens that email, it feels like, hey, this is really my problem. How did they know that that's what I was looking for? So UGC is not standalone going to give you any miracles, but when you understand the customer's pain point and then marry the type of user generated content to that, that's when customers will really love you and they'll wait for the next email.
Agreed, agreed. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. One more question, if we can take up. It's from Karan from Darwin Box. He asks that our challenge as a marketing team is most of our emails land in spam box, and how to manage this.
I think there is no silver bullet in this case. And even a company like ours still struggles with this problem. Uh, the two things that have helped us are number one, consistent focus on product and content quality. So, one bad email is sufficient for them to click that dreaded unsubscribe button. So, the first two, three, four, people stop after that. For us, content quality is extremely critical every single week. So we spend a lot of time, and our content team has to be given credit for this. They spend time on looking what subject lines worked, where are people clicking, where are they not clicking, what does the heat map say, where are they coming and landing, where is the bounce happening, what kind of transactions or surveys sort of sent away people into unsubscribing us, and what kind of content people love, and that consistency day on day on day. Imagine we are a 6-year-old company, which means there is some customer from 2016 who's still receiving our email after 6 years. So that could not have been possible if we were just haphazard in our content strategy. So that consistency is one. The second is actually asking for people. So in every activity, in every emailer, can you ask them to engage with you? Can you ask them to share? Can you make them from being a passive consumer to an active engager of Wikifit? which means you can ask them to share a new design with in their friend circle. You can ask them to engage with a survey and say, we are collecting sleep quality data across India. Can you participate and help us improve sleep quality of other people? So you're suddenly changing the narrative of how you're engaging with the consumer from being a reader to an engaged, active person with agency on his or her life. So these are two things that have really, really helped us day in and day out. One is consistency in quality of content, and secondly, transforming people from passive readers to active engagers. I think then suddenly they will start having an affinity towards your product. One of the interesting studies in Harvard or some other university was, why do people have affinity to IKEA despite having such a painful process of assembling products? The psychological study showed that because they have read through the manual, understood, and put together that table, no matter how painful that process was, now they love that table because their own labor has gone into it. Similarly, on emails, if you get them to engage, get them to share, get them to be involved in the process, they will never treat you as a transactional brand. They'll think of you as part of their life. So that is the key differentiator. Can you transform them from being passive to active participants in your journey?
Nice. Karan, I hope this answers your question. There's one more last question, Chaitanya, I would like to take up for everybody. Where do you think interactive emails will be more impactful? Like entertainment, like adding value, transactional retention, or re engagement?
Um, our belief is that retention and re-engagement interactive will always play a big role. The second one will be in the entertainment category. Uh, and our belief for that is, when you're looking at transactional, you want it to be no nonsense. You don't want the brand to play smart. You don't want the brand to play cute and try to hide your information and Easter eggs and so forth. They want the information up front, center, transparently. But then when you're re-engaging and they want to see what that Easter egg is, what that meme is, what that GIF is, you can play games with the audience and you can get them to uh, uh, s- participate in a survey, get them to share with somebody else. That we had a simple thing like, if you know anybody who's getting married in this wedding season, please share this wedding uh, selection or wedding collection. And people loved it because they were trying to see who all in their network is getting married in that phase and sharing it as part of their wedding preparation journey. So that's where it is interactive as well as you contributing, and people love receiving those at that stage. In entertainment, obviously the content plays the main role, and then you have a small interactive element. It's always welcome because people are now in that frame of mind.
Wonderful, wonderful, Chaitanya. It was lovely hearing from you. Thank you for taking out time today and be with us here. We would, as Asia Inc., really love to see you on next of series of our events as well.
Thank you all, and
Thank
all
you.
the best for the event.
Thank you. So, proceeding further, now I would request on stage Mr. Avi Kumar to deliver his keynote. Recognized among the top 30 CMOs by IAMAI, Kumar brings over a decade experience in online business and marketing leadership roles to joint ventures. Over to you, Mr. Avi.
Thank you so much, Anshika. Thank you. And thank you, Asia Inc. 500, for giving me this platform to interact with so many of you. Also, a big thank you to Netcore for being our partner in growth, and Rajesh for hosting me here. Uh, actually, Chaitanya did a good job in covering a lot of what I was going to speak about. I will try and steer away from what's already been discussed, and we can dwell a little bit more deeper into some of the other stuff. So when I was actually thinking of what should be the topic for this keynote. The Martech piece was there, which Netco wanted me to speak about. But then Martech for startups, Martech for growing organizations, Martech for companies. What was Martech for? And I realized that actually Martech is for the consumer. It is truly made to make consumers' life better. And that's why let's discuss today Martech for Consumers 3.0. What has been the change in the world in the last few years? I think we've all seen what COVID has done. While uh, it was a pandemic that has altered our lives to never go back in the same way. But at the same time, it's also accelerated the overall shift amongst the consumers. So, what we saw is that the adoption of digital platforms, specifically e commerce, fintech, edtech, it became much more accelerated and faster during these last 2 years. And what it also did for the consumer is that across audiences, this shift happened. Earlier, this may have been restricted to certain segments, certain audiences, maybe the Gen Z of the world, the millennials. But now, digital has gone beyond these profiles and age groups. We see that it cuts across categories, it cuts across age groups, it cuts across cities, metros, so on and so forth. And what's the impact of on marketing then? So marketing is traditionally, marketing follows audiences. So wherever the audiences are, the marketing also tries to follow them and interact with them on the platforms where they are. So truly, marketing has also shifted onto digital. And while that has happened, simultaneously, the audience has become very fragmented. What we see is that the consumer's attention span has gone down. Number of touch points that you can target on are becoming lesser. And media today is becoming more and more commoditized. So for any marketer, it becomes very important to reinvent regularly to ensure that we are able to delight the consumer, engage with the consumer in newer ways. So how do we really do that? What do we you know do for the consumers? What are consumers today looking for? We spoke about consumers 3.0. What is consumers 3.0 looking for? Consumer 3.0 is looking for a brand that they can trust. They are looking for authenticity in a brand. At the same time, they're also looking for somebody who they can trust in terms of data privacy, who they can trust in terms of keeping their credentials safe. And at the same time, a brand which is consistent yet dynamic. What does that mean, being consistent and dynamic? A brand which remains true to its promise, true to its ethos, but yet it is dynamic. It wows the consumer time and again. There is something new about, something interesting about that brand which keeps the consumer engaged and excited. Ease and value. Whether it's online shopping, getting a cake delivered to my own home or to my friend's place, what is very important is that people are looking for ease in their regular daily lives, and value for money, value for their time, value for the effort that they put in to connect with the brand. But what's really the most important thing that the consumer is looking for? And I think that's exactly what any marketer should solve for, is the job to be done. What's the job to be done for a consumer? What is it that as a brand I can solve for in the life of a consumer? How can I make their life more simpler? How can I solve a real life problem on a day to day basis for the brand? Now, if that's the case, What are some of the key trends that you see to ensure that you delight the consumer 3.0, to ensure that consumer 3.0 is engaged in the right manner, that trust is maintained? I think how hyper personalization is something that we spoke about in the last presentation also. But creative and communication and hyper personalization at a creative and communication level becomes key. Now, personalization can be at multiple levels. It could be, basis the platform that the consumer is on, uh, whether it's mobile, that the consumer is accessing content from, or it's web, or it's the app, or even the language that is selected on the handset. Can my communication adapt itself to the consumer's choices and the consumer's format and platforms that he prefers? A very important part is inspiring, engaging, and activating the consumer. Now, it's no more about the same message being put across all the platforms. It's really about creating a diverse range of experiences for the consumers to immerse in. What content marketing has done is that it has made, you know, messaging very contextual. So you can build traffic and build loyalty. So it's not really one story, one message which is bombarded across all platforms. It's actually different parts of the story, multiple story formats that get together to create a bigger story. So the storytelling has really gone to the next level. Whether it is from whether it's using emailer, whether it's using social media, whether it's using WhatsApp, it's about how you utilize each of these mediums in a way that it fits into the bigger story, and tracking and using the AI to personalize. So whether it's about the format that the consumer is comfortable in, or it's about the message that goes to the consumer, how can you use multiple data points that are available from your own zero party first party data, or from second and third party data, to make the consumers. Just 1 second. Sorry. So yeah, so it's really about tracking the consumers journeys, making sure that the assets and the formats are such that they are personalized for the consumers choices and the consumers needs, which brings in efficiency, and also it brings in a lot of customer engagement. So what we did is we implemented personalization at all these levels, whether it was the preferred channel that was to be used for communication. We do not have a omni channel approach. We have a preferred channel approach. So if you have a higher affinity towards uh, emailers, we will have your first touch point as an emailer, and we will communicate more on an emailer than any other medium. If you are more activated and more active on WhatsApp, then WhatsApp will be the preferred medium. It will not be that the same message will go to four different mediums and you will be bombarded with the same message. We customize the communication basis the basis the life cycle in which the consumer is, and that has led in to a 90% increase in the overall performance of email campaigns for IGP. We saw that after implementation of the SmartX marketing suite, the deliverability increased by 90%, and our engagement rates have increased to 20% plus. This is all due to the templatization that we've been able to do on our communication, the dynamic approach that we have to our communication on emailers, personalization that we've done, and also this preferred channel approach of communication. So once you've decided that you want to hyper personalize, that you want to, communicate with the consumer on almost a one-on-one basis, how do you automate, and why is automation necessary? Automation is necessary. It's not a it's not a luxury today, it's a necessity, because in this short span of attention that the consumer has, we need to ensure that we are able to reach out to the consumer to give the right message through the right medium with the right content at the right time. And again, the objective is not for you to do the sale. The objective for you needs to be to delight the consumer, to make him solve the problem that he is planning to solve for through your brand. And if you are able to become a part of that journey at the right time, whether it's at the awareness level, it's at the interest level, consideration level, or at the conversion level, you are able to be a successful marketer. So automation becomes very important, and marketing campaigns today need to be always on campaigns. Gone are the days when there were, 4 or 6 big campaigns in a year, or maybe a month, once in a month kind of a communication. Now it's a always on communication. The different parts of the story are being told through different mediums, and all of them are coming together to create that story. So at joint ventures, what we did is, through auto segmentation. So from the time the consumer lands onto the page to the first purchase, and then the upsell and the cross sell, we decide that what will be the consumer's predictive journey. There is a predictive behavior of the consumer, that basis which they are auto segmented. And post this auto segmentation, the funnel of the consumer is different for different sets. We look at their RFM, we look at what is the time and frequency with which we should speak to them, and automate it all basis this behavior. So just to give you an example, uh, there are there are a lot of people who come onto the platform for festivals, for festival gifting on the platform. So if you became a part of the joint ventures, came through IGP on a festival like Rakhi, what should be my next communication will depend on what is the kind of Rakhi that you bought, how close to the festival that you bought Rakhi. Then those who bought Rakhi, their affinity towards what other categories are there. Are they more interested on gourmet as a category, or they are more interested in fresh, which is, the cakes and flowers and plants as a category. So you really look at what are the different kind of journeys that this consumer has, and accordingly create these segments. However, 58% of the marketers today say that their campaigns today are too dependent on Facebook, Google, and Amazon. And I'm one of them. This is a constant ask from my team, that how is it that we can reduce our dependency on some of these, and reduce the commoditization of media that is happening. What is it that we could do? What is it that the marketeers are looking for today? Today, there is a need for solution that span across the entire journey. Something that is not just a part of acquisition, but also an integral part of the overall customer retention. Whether it is driving, customer satisfaction, which is one of the biggest objective of any, as per a survey, or identifying the higher value audiences, or to increase the customer loyalty and retention. Truly the need is to look at the overall funnel from top to bottom, and create solutions which are helping them to communicate with the consumer at each of these funnel at each of these funnels. However, we've also been talking about, and while Google and Facebook have been, the major contributors to the media spends that have been happening, we've also seen that more and more we are moving towards a cookieless world, a world where consumers' privacy, consumers' data is being honored. And we are moving to a world where zero and first party data will fuel the marketer's strategy. This has been a focus for us now for the last uh, couple of quarters, and it truly is in line with the entire consumer 3.0 and how to delight him. The inputs for a zero party data are taken from the consumer itself. So when you join uh, a website, you're asked to submit the details that you prefer to submit. If there are any interests that you want to highlight, you highlight. If there are certain your birthday or your anniversaries that you would want to be reminded of, you can input them. So it's completely the data sharing is in the hand of the consumer, not just from a point of view of me not using somebody else's data, but also you deciding what data should be used from you for you. So it's really about consumer giving their inputs, consent, and control also, which creates a strong identity and foundation for both the brand as well as the consumer, because then you are in a partnership, then you are in a sale and purchase mode. This also helps then to power relevant content and a lot of on-site experience, because you know your interests best and you would want to see content that you like best. So why not customize it in partnership? So zero and first party data then helps to also completely transform your experience on the website. When you land onto a website, what you see on the homepage, or let me not even go into the website, even the emailer that you get will be very different from what the other person's emailer will be. And why? It's not just about the name, it's not just about what you purchased, but it's about your interests. It's about what is it that your likes and dislikes are. It's about what are your preferences in terms of being communicated to, how many times do you want to be communicated, so on and so forth. So it really creates a larger addressable audience for us. It also helps to create very interesting cohorts and make the messaging much more contextual. Now, having said that, how do you do it? How do you really? We spoke about all these zero and first party data, but how do you utilize it? What do you do? We've been hearing, we spoke about emailers going into spam, and about, the deliverability or the open rates, etc., which we've been able to increase on a month on month basis. But how do you do it? What will really help in doing it? Interactive formats. How do we go beyond the ordinary? How do you use different mediums, different formats, so that the consumer is more engaged? I think the future really lies in gamification, where surveys, quiz, feedback, where really there is no need for the consumer to click on the emailer, go on to a landing page, and then submit his responses. Why can't we just take the survey, the quiz, or the feedback right there onto the emailer and close the loop there itself? It helps to ease consumers' life. And that's why gamification can play a very big role in these formats. So the formats are the same. We spoke about when the first email was sent, but the same email is being reinvented on a regular basis. How is it that within the emailers we can have carousels as well? You could have carousels, not just gifs, but carousels within emails. How is it that you could look at AI video as a part of emailers? We've done successful pilots with Netcore on integrating video into our emailer content, and we've seen some phenomenal engagement rates there. However, how do we then take it to the next level? Can these videos be personalized for the consumer? Can these video be customized as per what the consumers, interests are? That's the next level of interaction. So we've seen that if you post the content that isn't useful, interesting, helpful, consumers won't engage with you, right? And the algorithms anyway are such that they push the brand down more and more. The more your emailers are not open, the less their chances of being on top and not being in spam. So creating personalized experiences help not just your brand, it also puts the consumer at the heart of every conversation, and rather than your product being at the center. One more thought that I had was that can we turn emailers into NFTs? It's just a thought. Can those emails which are really unique, that are a collectible, can they also become a part of the entire buzz that NFTs created? These were some of the trends to delight the consumer 3.0. I also wanted to share with you very quickly what are some of my learnings from emailers and from implementing martech in different organizations. I think the first and foremost thing is strategy first, technology second. If you feel that the tools themselves will do some magic for you, and just implementing, just putting up a tool will suddenly change all the metric, it won't. What is most important is that we understand what is it that your tech stack is. So I suggest that if you are implementing a new tool or you are in the process of digital transformation in your organization, what you should first do is to try and draw out and visualize your entire tech stack first. This will give you an opportunity to think critically about each tool that you are now evaluating, the purpose that it serves for you and for the consumer. And wherever there is an overlap, wherever there is a duplication, you can identify it at the right time and take a decision. And as our company grows and there are so many tools that are available, you get tempted and you rely on technology to really support every process which is still evolving. It's a good thought. However, what also needs to be taken into consideration is that how is it that you mold these tools around the systems that you have to utilize them the best. So first put in the strategy and then bring in the technology. Second, always keep it simple. We've all heard you know uh, about KISS, that keep it simple, stupid. If you can simplify your go to market strategy as much as possible, however complex your structure may be, you'll be heading in the right direction. Also, aim for the medium term solutions. I think, in an ideal world, every decision that I make or you make, you know, about your tech stack today should work seamlessly for the teams for years to come. But in reality, that doesn't happen, right? You probably are going to change your systems at least a dozen times in the next few years if you continue to scale. You shouldn't worry about picking up your forever tech, but also do not settle for a tool that will become absolute and obsolete in the next 6 months itself. So pick up a tool that can help you to create certain growth hacks for the next 1 year, 2 years time, and look at carefully what is the ROI that you are getting even in the POC that you do. Another point is clean data. And uh, there is a lot of data. We're swarmed by data. Data is the new oil. Data is the engine to growth. But if data is not clean, it's of no use. Garbage data is no good for anyone. In fact, it makes life more complex. Garbage in, garbage out. So, and make sure that at the collection point itself, the data is clean. A lot of times, what I've seen is that when teams are implementing, they decide that, let me collect data right now. We will clean it up at a later stage when we have to utilize it or when we have to analyze it and it has to go into a system. No, at the collection stage itself, make sure that the data is clean. Next is constant supply of content. I think, content is truly, the king. Consumers today are engaged by content. The content that you supply through any of these formats, whether it's on platform communication, whether it's emailers of or it is APN notifications, there has to be constant innovation and supply of content. You cannot have the same boring content going out week on week, month on month, because then the consumer will understand that this is what we are doing, and this is what we are providing to the consumer. And that is how we will be able to
Hi, audience. It seems like a network issue right here. Please allow us like 10-15 seconds more for Avi to join and back. Hi everyone, Avi is back with us again. Please allow us quite some time. We'll put him on the main stage.
Hi, I'm sorry. I think I got dropped off due to some network glitch. Yeah. But I hope you guys were able to hear me until we spoke about ROI.
Yes, yes, Avi. You can
Okay.
continue from there itself.
Yeah, so I was just saying that, ROI is the most important. ROI is not just from a point of view of the brand. ROI is also from the point of view of the consumer. I always feel that whatever we do, we have to put the consumer at the center. If we're able to create a ROI for the time, effort, and money that the consumer has put into the brand, we will be able to really create a partnership, a growth for both the brand as well as the consumer. And that's what should be at the heart and core of every strategy.
Okay, great, Avi. It was a really wonderful session here. I see the Q&A window is like flooded with questions, and people are really looking forward for you to answer them all. But with interest of time, we'll be taking like just a couple of questions to sum it
Sure.
up.
Yeah.
So we have Avishek Avinash, who is the director of marketing from Plum, and he asks that Avi, do you have any live examples of the campaigns you would like to walk us through?
Sure. I think there are a lot of case studies that are there in terms of some of the examples that we have. I can share, some of the best practices and examples that we have with you and the Netco team, and you guys can share it across with the audience.
Perfect. Okay, there's another question from the digital marketing manager from Unschool, and he's asking that what are the different ways of creating segmentation of data?
What are the different ways of doing it?
How are different ways? How in how many segregations can we do data and content?
Millions. So so the answer is that as many as you want. We were speaking about n equal to 1 communication, right? So when you talk about hyper personalization, It's really about targeting that.
I'm sorry, everyone. It seems like there's a network issue. Uh, we'll request Avi to take up your questions in the chat window. We would like to proceed further with the event. Now, moving ahead, it's time to celebrate and honor the most inspiring and outstanding performers in the space of email marketing. This year, we have awards under 7 categories. Within each category, we have winners, first runner ups, and second runner ups. And I'm happy to inform you all that we have received more than 150 plus nominations from India and emerging markets. All the nominations that we have received were stunning and outstanding. It was really a tough decision for to pick a handful of winners in each category for all our panelists and jury members. We would like to thank every brand and every marketer for taking out time to file in for the nominations. But before we proceed further, on behalf of Asia Inc. 500, we would like to share our gratitude towards our honorable jury members who helped us finalize the winners and figure out the best talent in the industry. I would like to thank Mr. Amit Chaudhary, co-founder at Lenskart, Mr. Christopher Marriott, president and founder at Email Connect, Claire Holmes, CMO Redshift, Rama Iyer, head of innovations GMR, Megha Sinha, VP Digital Genpat, Millie Kataria, founder at Pandora's Box, Ram Jalan, consultant digital transformation at M Square Media, Priya Patankar, head of communications PhonePe, and Vivek Banka, director at Maverick Digital. Our first category of awards moving ahead is the email campaign of the year. And we'll start with announcing the second runner-ups in the category. And we have 2 brands holding the same position for the second runner-up. And the names are Mintra and Trell. Congratulations, Mintra and Trell, for winning the second runner-up. Maybe please have the thank you note from Mintra and Trell, please.
Super thrilled about winning the award for the email campaign of the year. Speaking a little bit about it, it was our take on World Environment Day. We took a humorous route to drive the point home, and we're glad it worked. Everyone here has played a huge role in taking the campaign live, and we are super grateful about the recognition. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mintra.
And I head the CRM department for Trill. Now, I would formally like to introduce my team here. There is Purva, Harshita, Chandana, Vaibhav, and George. Now, these are the brilliant mind behind whatever is happening in CRM. I personally do nothing. It's just guiding these people through right direction. Now, I would really like to thank the Asia Inc. 500 as well as the NIPCO team for valuing our effort in emails that we have been doing so far, and also recognizing us to the feat that we didn't think was possible, considering the CRM team and the email team as well is less than 9 months old here at Trill. We literally started everything from scratch when we joined in here. And for us, this is a very big feat to achieve in such a short span of time. The journey is yet to be continued, yet to continue. We have so much to do right now. This is just a starting point, and our expectations are only bound to get higher from here point. So right now we are placed at third position, but for next year, I'm sure that we're gonna bag the first prize.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for recognizing our effort. It's a great boost for the team and the entire Trello organization. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Amazing, Trell. Kudos and keep doing better. Now, moving further, for the first runner-up in the category for the most for the email campaign of the year, we have WakeFit Innovations. We also do have a thank you note from WakeFit. May we please have the video?
First runner-up for Email Campaign of the Year award. We are honored to have our work recognized by Netcore, and congratulations to all other winners. Thank you.
Congratulations, WakeFit. Now, in the winner category, we again have two brands who have backed up the winner's position. So the award goes to Equitas and Tata 1MG. Congratulations, Equitas and Tata 1MG, on winning the Email Campaign of the Year award. May we have the videos, please?
Communications and CRM in Tata 1MG. On behalf of the entire Tata 1MG family, I would like to thank the jury members and Asia Inc. 500 for honoring us with Email Campaign of the Year award. I would also like to thank Netcore for supporting us time to time, and of course, each team member of our amazing team for making this happen. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Maybe also have the video from. Okay, apologies. Moving on to the next category for the most innovative email campaign. The second runner-up for the category of the most innovative email campaign is again won by WakeFit Innovations. Congratulations, WakeFit. We do have a thank you note from WakeFit. May we have the video, please?
Runner-up for the most innovative email campaign of the year award. We are honored to have our work recognized by Netcore, and congratulations to all the winners. Thank you.
Congratulations, WakeFit. Moving further to the first runner-up in the category for the most innovative email campaign of the year, we have. So basically, we have a tie between two brands. So it's between Big Basket and Your Story Media. Congratulations, both Big Basket and Your Story Media, on backing up the first runners up for the most innovative email campaign. May we please have the note of acceptance?
We are selected as the first runner-up for the most innovative email campaign award 2022. We thank Asia Inc. 500 and Netcore for this opportunity, and congratulations to all other winners.
Thank you, Big Basket. Congratulations. Now, moving on to the winner for the category of the most innovative email campaign. This particular award goes to Axis Bank. Congratulations, Axis Bank, on winning the award. We do have a video from a note of acceptance from Axis Bank. May we have the video?
I'm Chaitanya Ramalingegowda. I head campaign management for Axis Bank. We are a part of Digital Banking Automation and Transformation Department. It is indeed an honor and pleasure to have received this award for email innovation. This award is a recognition and acknowledgement of the hard work put in by my wonderful team of campaign managers, creative studio, and MarTech enablers to ensure that we stand out in a crowd and continue with our customer connect and enhance it. I'm thankful to Sameer Shetty, who's the department head, and unit head Srinivas Iyer, to have put in the faith and supported us and given us freedom to continue experimenting with change. I would like to thank NetCore for helping us in the journey and Asia INC 500 to have recognized our efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Axis Bank. Congratulations on winning the Most Innovative Email Campaign of the Year award. Now, I would like to inform our audience that the keynote session ends here. We would all request you to please go back to the schedule and join back to our next session, which is the speaker and the panel session. We would all see you over there in another 1 minute. So in case anybody is having any doubts about like going back to the session, there is on the top left of this of your screen, you'll find a back icon. If you click there, you'll go to the backstage area and you can join the second session that will begin. We'll be just starting in another minute.